This goes on. Some asked if Jesus was Elijah, like in Luke 9:18, which would suggest reincarnation. It's not so much that. When it said that Elijah would return, they're talking about someone who would be like Elijah. It's kind of like using a metaphor to refer to something or someone, that the person would come and would be in the same spirit, I put that in quotation marks, as Elijah, in the sense that what they would do, the way that they would act, the way that they would function, the role they would serve, would be along the same idea as Elijah the prophet, which if you read the books of Kings and Samuel and all these other things, you have all of these situations where Elijah is not the nicest person. He does all kinds of crazy things, and people are kind of like, what's going on with him? In fact, there's times when he goes from place to place, and they ask him, are you here for a good reason or a bad reason before we open the door to let you in? John the Baptist was Elijah. It even says so in Scripture. Jesus will say, Elijah has already returned, and you did not see it, because he was talking about John the Baptist. So when it says that he would return with the power and spirit of Elijah, he wasn't talking about the actual spirit. He was talking about someone who was very similar, someone who was very powerful, someone who was very controversial, someone who was like Elijah in the way that they were. So it's not talking about reincarnation, it's talking about, in a sense, being like someone. It's kind of like when you see someone and they remind you of someone else. Same thing. The person's not born again. They just remind you of them. Yes?